In a world where a small number of people are demi-humans, biology teacher Tetsuo Takahashi is surprised to find his school's new maths teacher is one such demi-human, a succubus named Seiki Sato. As Tetsuo struggles to talk with Seiki due to the measures she takes to keep her powers under control, one of his new students, a vampire named Hikari Takanashi, asks for his help in carrying the headless body of her Dullahan classmate, Kyoko Maki, to the nurse's office the next day. After meeting Hikari's human twin sister, Henry Tetsuo spends some time with Hikari to learn some facts about real-world vampires. Afterwards, Hikari befriends Kyoko, who had been having trouble talking about her demi traits with her classmates, and encourages her to write a letter of thanks to Tetsuo, offering to speak with him anytime. Tetsuo spends some time talking with Kyoko, learning about how she deals with her Dullahan body and struggles with making friends, receiving some advice on how to break the ice with her classmates. Kyoko asks Tetsuo to hug her head. Later, Hikari sets Kyoko up on a practice date with Tetsuo, who carries her head around while Hikari keeps her body at her house. During the date, Kyoko tells Tetsuo her concerns about her Snow Woman classmate, Yuki Kuzukabe. Using what he had learned, Tetsuo arranges with the principal to allow Kyoko to use a backpack instead of a regulation bag so she can carry her head around more easily. A deed that is only noticed by Seiki. While struggling to keep men from being affected by the natural aphrodisiac she produces, Seiki finds herself becoming attracted to Tetsuo when she assumes he wasn't affected. While Tetsuo questions Hikari on the connection between bloodsucking and romance, Kyoko tells Seiki about her crush on Tetsuo and asks for some romance advice. Despite Seiki's lack of actual experience, later Yuki becomes panicked after she overhears some girls bad-mouthing her behind her back, claiming that she is being full of herself, and seeks out Tetsuo's help. As Yuki fears she is being gossiped about because she is a demi-human, Tetsuo seeks some advice from Seiki, who believes Yuki's personal issues are connected with her demi nature. Having overheard their conversation, Hikari decides to confront the girls about their gossiping herself, working up all her courage to tell them how wrong it is to badmouth others. Impressed by Hikari's determination born from a promise made with Henry, the girls apologize to Yuki after she explains why she acts cautiously around others. The next day, Tetsuo brings together the demis and asks them to support each other. Hikari turns the meeting into an impromptu hugging session. Afterwards, Tetsuo ends up walking home with Henry, who has yet to trust him. Her impression of him changes, however, after Tetsuo explains the importance of understanding demis by recognizing both their human personalities and their troubles with being humans. Yuki explains to Tetsuo how ice particles formed in her bath one night before starting high school, leading her to fear that her powers as a snow woman could hurt someone. Reading up on various folklore, Tetsuo comes up with an idea and has Yuki take a hot foot bath while reading some of the more grim legends surrounding snow women. This leads to the formation of ice particles, which Tetsuo identifies as cold sweat from her feet, which had frozen because of emotional stress. Deducing that Yuki's powers are tied to her negative feelings, this revelation comes as a huge relief to Yuki, who realizes her powers aren't actually capable of hurting others and starts to become more open with herself. Afterwards, Yuki goes to spend time with Hikari and Kyoko and becomes closer friends with them. Tetsuo is invited to the Takanashi household, spending some time talking with Hikari and Henry's father while also witnessing some of the feuding that goes on between the two sisters. The next day, as Henry scolds Hikari for not being able to sort out her own hair, Tetsuo brings up the possibility that as a vampire she can't see her own reflection in the mirror. This leads Henry to feel guilty about what she has done, up until she realizes that the superstition is actually false. Later, Kyoko finds herself in the biology prep room with an allegedly sleeping Tetsuo, unaware that he is actually awake. Seiki comes across a boy named Kurtz who is revealed to be a police detective working under Agaki, an old acquaintance of hers. After Seiki mentions her interest in Tetsuo, Agaki points out that, contradictory to what she had previously assumed, Tetsuo was actually affected by her aphrodisiac but had acted like he was not affected so as not to hurt Seiki's feelings. Later, Kurt scolds some male students for taking peeping photos of Seiki. While Tetsuo talks with Agaki about his work in a demi-human division, particularly incidents involving succubi, Yuki tries to hide her guilty enjoyment of classic gag manga. After Seiki stumbles across one of her dropped books, surprised to find Kyoko is smarter than she thought she was, Hikari asks her to help her with her studies so she can get praised by Tetsuo. Later, Hikari holds a contest among the others to decide whose arm she'd prefer to bite. Encouraged by Agaki to make a move, Seiki comes to Tetsuo with the intention of using her aphrodisiac effect on him, but finds herself charmed by his theory on how genuine affection for a succubus can be. Later, Yuki asks Tetsuo to help her learn how to control her snow woman abilities in order to beat the summer heat. Following a particularly hot PE lesson, Kyoko tries telling the others a ghost story to cool them down. After hearing Hikari brag about kissing Tetsuo on the cheek, Kyoko attempts to get a kiss for herself, only to get scolded by Tetsuo when she almost drops her head in the process. Wanting to apologize by providing him with more demi-human research, Kyoko joins Tetsuo at his old university to meet his friend Soma, who believes that her neck is a wormhole between her head and body that exists in another dimension. Hearing Soma's theories on the Dullahan's spacetime potential, Kyoko starts to take an interest in researching more about Dullahan's. As Tetsuo looks into a way to help Hikari and Yuki deal with the summer heat, he is warned by the vice principal not to focus so much on the demis, who currently rely exclusively on him. Having heard about this conflict, some of the regular students, including the girls who used to bully Yuki, discuss among themselves how they should get along with their demi schoolmates. Upon learning of the situation, after noticing Tetsuo distance himself from them, the girls send him a video message thanking him for everything he has done for them, while Hikari thanks him in person the next day. The vice principal reverses his decision, acknowledging how Tetsuo's efforts have inspired both his demi-human and human students. Despite having some concerns over how Hikari will fare in the sunlight, Tetsuo allows her and the others to reserve the outdoor pool, inviting Seiki to join them. As the girls enjoy themselves, Seiki attempts to ask Tetsuo out, while Kyoko has a discussion about the legends concerning Dullahan's, leading to her first experience putting her head underwater. Afterwards, Hikari explains that she wanted to prioritize everyone having fun instead of going out of their way for her during summer break. Tetsuo asks Seiki to join him on patrol duty for the local summer festival, which both the Demis and Henry and her friends go to. As each group decides to check out a nearby shrine, they get spooked by some strange occurrences, which turn out to be each other. As the next term begins, Tetsuo converses with an invisible woman